the more you can live in emotions like joy and power and confidence, right? And faith, then the more you can achieve.
My next guest is Barbara Roux-Levrat, and Barbara is originally from the Dominican Republic and now living in the Geneva area in Switzerland. And Barbara's on a mission to help women that are just too nice, who are always pleasing other people, and she wants to give them their emotional strength back so they can really kick some ass. So, great conversation. Let's have a listen. This is the Expat Business Hero podcast, and I'm your host, Alex Congdon. Welcome, Barbara. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Alex. Thanks for having me.
This is Barbara Roux-Levrat. And Barbara, you're Europe's #1 expert in teaching women who are too nice how to become kick-ass. Is that right?
Exactly. Yes.
So, Barbara, let's just put on hold for a second the whole, where are you from bit, right? I want to get straight to the point. Aren't all women already kick-ass?
That's beautiful, Alex. Actually, I think all women have the potential to become kick-ass, all right? But I think many times we've been conditioned by culture and religion to play ourselves down, right? So we tend to think first of the others, and we tend to downplay our talents in favor of others. And many times we are insecure about our own capabilities, insecure about making decisions. So when we are in that energy, we are being too nice, and it is to the detriment of ourselves and to the detriment of others as well, because we are teaching them not to appreciate us, and we're spoiling them, basically. So if I would do that to my husband or to my kids, I'm really spoiling them, right? Because then they get used to treating me however way they want. And that's not healthy for anybody involved.
So what does a woman get out of being, as you call it, kick-ass or have this strength? How would they, manifest themselves in life in general?
Right. So a woman who is kick-ass is a woman who is super self-confident, who knows her value. You will be surprised, Alex, how many women do not know their value, right? So it's a woman who knows her value, is aware of her own power, is aware of the impact she can make in the world. And so she shows up so differently, so she commands respect, and people actually like her better because nobody likes a weak person. It's easy to take advantage of a weak person, but deep down, people do not respect a person like that. So when she becomes kick-ass, she has everything to gain, her own self-respect and the self-respect of others.
Okay, that's really, I'm sure there are a lot of women listening who will resonate with that. Now, let's just go back to you a second. So you're from the Dominican Republic, which is a lovely island in the Caribbean. Unfortunately, you don't have the whole island yourself. I think you share it with a neighbor, don't you?
Very good.
IET, yes, which is true. So can you tell me a little bit about your time there and how you ended up moving into the sort of Geneva area where you live today?
Okay. I love my life story, Alex, because as you said, exactly, I come from this island in the middle of the Caribbean. And but I have to say that I think I'm a very good manifestator. And I don't know if you're aware of that title, but I mean somebody who manifests things, who relies a lot in the power of the universe to bring things to her life. All right. So when I was little, an example I will give you is it was my dream to go to China and learn Chinese. And I was going to do that. I was in the Dominican Republic. And through a series of coincidences, quote unquote, it so happened that I won a scholarship to do a bachelor's in the US. And then when I was there, I could participate in a study abroad program in China. So I ended up learning basic Chinese and spending a semester in China. So my life, Alex, really has been such a series of that. After that bachelor's, I had a really good job in the Dominican Republic. I went back. Listen to this, Alex. Actually, my job I was offered a green card and a job in the US because it was an American company. I mean, how many people get that chance? And believe it or not, I turned it down.
Why not?
It's true. Because I had lived in the US, right? And while I was doing my bachelor's, and I have to say, I did not enjoy living in the US. It was not the culture that was really fitting to me. And so I thought, no, I want to go to Europe. So then I set my next intention. I said, I would like to do an MBA in Europe. And what do you know? Through another series of coincidences, the British government ended up giving me a scholarship to do an MBA in Edinburgh University, Scotland. That was an amazing opportunity. And it was there that I met the man who became my husband, who later became my ex-husband.
Right. Okay.
But it was with him that I came to Switzerland.
Okay. So that's quite a journey. I mean, you manage okay with the weather in Scotland?
I managed it. Yeah, it was not the most fun thing, but it was okay.
So I understand that in your past, you told me before that you struggled to have a voice, and you said you were always trying to please others. This was part of your story. So why did you feel it was your calling to help other women who felt the same, to get their emotional strength in gear, as it were? Why did you feel you had that calling?
Right. Great question, Alex. When you don't have a voice, right, because you've been hiding it for so long, you've been, putting in the back burner for so long because you're giving somebody else the priority in your life, it is a form of oppression. I really would say that it is. You are not free, right? You're really not. Your soul is not free. And as I said in the introduction, that's not good for anybody. You cannot feel fulfilled, right? And the people around you are not getting the best of you either, okay? So that's why when I was able to break free from that, Alex, and it was not easy, because women who are in that position, we get there because, first of all, we were conditioned from our childhood to play that role, all right? So almost 100% of the time, Alex, we had somebody in our family when we were growing up that was quite narcissistic. So all the attention was going to this person, and we felt like, oh my gosh, so, there's no room for my voice here. There's no room for my needs. So let me forget about them. Okay. So this is how most women, men, there are also men in that position. This is how most people get into that role. And as I said, it is a form of oppression. You are not free. You cannot express yourself. You cannot live your full potential, right? You cannot shine like that, always being in the on somebody's shadow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Behind somebody's shadow. So once I was able to break free and find this amazing new life for myself, I said, oh my goodness, this is truly my calling and this is my passion, Alex. And there's nothing I'm more excited about than helping other women become free as well.
So essentially, you what you created here, I think, is a coaching and training and transformation business. Now, I'm sure it's not been plain sailing, as we say. Can you talk about some of the struggles that you've had as you set the business up, both from the business side or from the personal side? Things that you've had to overcome.
Right. Oh my gosh. I tell people that setting up your own business is not for the faint at heart, right? I mean, it really isn't. It takes so much resilience. It takes so much faith. It takes so much getting up again. It takes so much self-discipline, right? Because it's easy to get up every day and go to a job because people are expecting you there. But when it is all up to you, you require so much self-discipline. I think it's not easy. And it's hard to get your voice out there, to differentiate yourself, right? And I think, Alex, the hardest part of all is, first of all, believing in yourself, right? Believing in your own value, believing in the results that you provide for people, because it's a learning on the job. That's really what it is. But I have to say, it is such a wonderful journey because I have learned so much about myself, right? This has taught me, oh my God, I am an amazing woman. And I had all of this inside me, but I didn't have the chance to exercise it, right? So it is beautiful. And on the personal side, Alex, my biggest struggle was taking that step to leave my husband, to leave that relationship that was toxic, that where I didn't have a voice. And that was a huge step, Alex, because I think, and I think I speak for many women here, women, we identify a lot with our marital status, right? Many women who are single or divorced actually feel terrible to say that about themselves. It feels like, oh my God, nobody wants me, or I was not able to keep a man, and there's something fundamentally flawed about me, right? So I think that this was a huge step, especially that I grew up in a very religious family. So on top of everything, you have this religious pressure that, you can never divorce. I mean, divorce is the biggest sin. So I think personally, my struggles were greater than business-wise. Honestly, Alex, I can tell you this, compare to my personal struggles, the business struggles were small. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
We're really small. So it was, just getting over what my family's expectations were, what my cultural expectations were, what my religious expectations were, even from myself, breaking free from that was absolutely huge. And at times it felt devastating. But fun enough, I realized, oh my gosh, Barbara, you're so strong. You really walking the talk, right? Because my specialty is emotional strength. And I thought you have become so emotionally strong to be able to withstand all of this. And that just made me feel so proud of myself.
Now, do you think, which way around is it? Do you think setting up a business has helped you in your own strength? Or do you think it's the other way around, that you need emotional strength to be able to set up and be effective as a business owner?
I think they probably feed off each other. Yeah. Probably, absolutely. So when I overcome something in my business, then I'm like, wow, then I become stronger emotionally, right? Because I'm like, wow, look at what I was able to do. And, but I think because I'm emotionally strong, then I can take some steps that I think, would be really harder for somebody else, right? So I believe, Alex, that the more you can live, this is what emotional strength is for me. The more you can live in emotions like joy and power and confidence, right? And faith, then the more you can achieve. The more you, and the reverse is also true. The more you live in emotions like self-pity, right? For me, and I'll never be able to do this. And I'm sad because look at what I lost, right? So when you're in those emotions, everything becomes a struggle. So I really work with my clients to make them live in the powerful emotions, because once you're in those emotions, Alex, it's easy to create beautiful things. As I said, I realized, my gosh, I had created so many amazing things in my life, all those scholarships and trips, and I created them out of that feeling of joy. It wasn't even what I was doing. It was being, when you are in those emotions, amazing coincidences, quote unquote, happen in your life. And I love that.
Now, you've got a program, or you've got a system where to help your clients. Could you maybe pick out a couple of steps, or two or three of the steps in the system that you think, then just to share with everyone now, as to how you approach helping your women clients?
Okay, good question. I think the first and most important step, Alex, is that I make an assessment, like I make an emotional assessment of my clients. And because if we don't know the truth about ourselves, we cannot be set free. I'm borrowing a line from the Bible that says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And I think this is so important, right? It says, an alcoholic, as long as he doesn't realize that he's addicted to alcohol and he has no power over that, he cannot be healed, right? So I think this is the most important step. I help my clients realize, wow, look at, these are my patterns. These are the patterns that I've had in my relationships and in my thoughts and in my emotions. And that's the main step. And then once we identify that, the next step is, okay, how do we cure that? Right? It's like, wow, what I need to do to get out of those patterns. And, I love this quote, Alex. A belief is nothing more than a chronic thought. Okay. So whatever I believe we're suffering from, whether it's I'm not good enough, or, I'll never make it, or, I'll never have a good relationship with men, whatever it is you just believing it because you've been telling yourself for so long. Right. So then we work on that, on creating a new belief and anchoring that new belief and practicing that new belief. And the third step really that I do is teaching my clients how to work with the universe, because I don't like difficult things, Alex. I don't know if that comes from my Latina background, but really, I don't believe I'm like, no, you have to struggle and life is tough. No, because that has not been my experience. I'm more like, I can have the universe work for me. And I love that. So this is really the third step that I take my clients on, is teaching them, because it is both a science and an art, how to have the universe create things for you.
Now, one of the things I think I need to work on is asking for help more. I don't know if it's me, if it's a male thing or what, but with women, do women ask for help? And is it something that you find or you see in this area that you work in, that they're not reaching out? Because I think for me, women ask for help more than men do in their lives, in their problems, in whatever they may do. I'm just wondering if that's something that you notice.
You know what, Alex? Actually, no, I have a different experience, because I work specifically with women who are too nice. And the women who are too nice, it is very natural for us to do favors for others. I mean, we're always, the answer is always, yes, of course. Even before the person asks for it, we're like, hey, what about if I drive you to the airport, But because of our nature, our upbringing, it is really hard for us to accept a favor. Can you imagine? So, I mean, much less ask for it, and even if somebody volunteers it, we have a really hard time accepting it. It's not in the dynamic that we've grown up. And can you imagine, Alex? So this will automatically create asymmetric relationships, right? Because automatically you will spoil somebody to say, hey, I'm always here for you, and don't worry, you don't have to do anything for me. So I think this is incredibly toxic, that a toxic dynamic that we create ourselves.
So what about you then? Did you get help as you were going through this journey, either personally or specifically for the business? Did you reach out and ask for any guidance from anywhere, get any inspiration, get any mentorship anywhere? It's not easy to set up a business like this. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, no, you're right. Actually, I had to learn that consciously, Alex. Like, no, Barbara, stop. You want to create mutually beneficial relationships, so you have to learn to ask. But I will tell you, Alex, it's so funny that even after having a mentor, right? I have a business mentor, and I've paid for this business mentor, and I've paid big money for this business mentor. But still, Alex, I realized that for me to reach out, it's hard. It's still hard, It still doesn't come naturally, because you feel like, oh, I'm bothering the person, Or I see that the people who get further faster are the people that ask the most questions. Hey, no, I need your help here. Hey, I need to talk to you. Hey, so having a mentor has been incredibly beneficial. I would really advise that to everybody, right? I think coaches and mentors are a shortcut to our success, because instead of having to figure it out yourself, you can have somebody who's figured it out already and is just going to tell you what to do. So that would be my number one.
But you need to learn how to use them. That's your point, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. But you need to learn to take full advantage of them.
Yeah. So for you personally, what was at stake here in terms of this business, this, your passion and mission to help others, but if it didn't work out, if you weren't able to get clients, if you weren't able to project yourself, what was at stake for you?
Oh my gosh, everything, Alex, really. Because I walked out of a 20-year-old marriage with very little money. I can tell you that. Very little alimony. So I basically, Alex, at the age of almost 50, I became independent for the first time in my life. And I had to earn enough to sustain myself and my kids, basically. I have two children. And there again, Alex, I have amazed myself. No, really. I'm like, Barbara, I didn't know you were so strong and so capable. So really, everything is at stake. And if I didn't trust the universe like I do, Alex, or God, I call him God, I would not be able to be here. I would have, I don't know, crumble into a little ball, or something. But I think a big chunk of my emotional strength comes from trusting, right? I tell people you need to trust, not just in yourself, because you know that we let ourselves down so many times, right, Alex? Like, I know I'm not 100% reliable. So a big chunk of being emotionally strong is being able to trust God, the universe, life, whatever you want to call it, and to know, hey, when what I cannot do, the universe will do for me. This is what gives me peace every day.
Anything in particular that you are really proud of that you've accomplished? Anything that, a success, a learning?
Oh gosh, this whole journey, really, Alex, this whole journey of saying, yes, I'm going to follow my heart. At this age, I'm going to become independent. I'm going to build my business almost from scratch, because my business had been like a hobby, right? When I was married, it was more like a hobby. So there are so many things, Alex, that I've had to overcome, and as I said, personally, going against my family, religious family there, that they were all against, they're still against the fact that I divorced, right? And I think that's one of the biggest pressures, that people face, is disappointing their family members. And in some families, the pressure can be huge. So yeah, I feel like, oh my goodness, I have overcome so many things, Alex, and it's such a short period of time. So, and I know that gives me like so much faith to know, wow, now I'm in such a good position to take my business to like, wow, an incredible level.
Well, on that note, what do you see the future for the business? And where are you going to be in the next 5 years, let's say?
Okay, very good. I've already asked the universe for what I want.
What did the universe say?
He always says yes. Okay, Alex, this is what people don't realize. The universe is not judgmental, and the universe is not going to tell you no because of this. No, the universe, whatever you're asking for, the universe is telling you yes. What people don't realize is that many times, because we're sabotaging ourselves, we think we're asking the universe, hey, I want money, for example. But if we have an underlying belief that says, oh, but rich people are mean and they're disgusting, right? So we're actually telling the universe, but don't give me a lot of money because I don't want to become, disgusting. So that's what I help clients find out. What are really your underlying beliefs, right? But going back to your question, I've asked the universe, what I want is to bring my message to women all over the world. I want to travel all over the world, speak from stages, inspiring women, motivating them to believe in themselves, to follow their hearts, to trust the universe, and dare to shine bright like a diamond. And to know that there will be difficulties, but when we go through those rough spots, Alex, I call them, see it as you're polishing the diamonds, right? We're all diamonds in the rough. Take the opportunities to face your fears, to do things you've never done before. Take those opportunities and see them as you're polishing your diamond. And the more you polish it, the more it's going to shine, the more beautiful it will be, the more people will want it, right? The more proud you're going to be, and the stronger you will be, right? What's stronger than a diamond?
So one of my final questions then, for all these rough diamonds that are out there, have you got any maybe practical, advice for someone who's setting up a business and they're away from home, like you've done. They're in a country which is not theirs. Maybe they're struggling with issues. What would you advise them?
Yeah. Okay. My number one advice would be that, really, Alex, that they seek help. Don't try to do everything on your own. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Get a mentor. Get whatever you can afford as a mentor. Get a mentor to show you the way. Honestly, this is the best advice. And to know that, sure, being away from home has a lot of disadvantages. You don't have the network that you grew up with. You don't have this automatic support system. But I believe you can turn everything into an advantage. And the advantage of it is that sometimes it is easier to reinvent yourself in a place where nobody knows you, right? Than being in a place where you grew up and people are like, well, what do you mean you're a coach now? I mean, didn't you study computer science? Weren't you computer programming? What is that, right? So no, see it as an advantage. You have all the freedom. People don't know you. So you can recreate yourself into whatever the heck
I love that.
you want.
I love that. It's one of the biggest issues we have, isn't it? This identity issue, no?
Yes.
I used to be this, now I want to be this, and what are they going to think? And
exactly, right? We're always thinking about that. What are people going to think? And am I going to disappoint them? And, am I going to be credible? Right? So no, use that as an advantage. You have a blank canvas on which to create something totally new. Use it.
That's fantastic. Well, Barbara, I think I was going to finish up on asking you if people wanted to reach out and find out more about you. You gave me your website, which, and I'll put all this down in the show notes for everyone to see, but your website is emotional-strength.com. And you mentioned to me that you are in the middle of actually doing some market research right now and reaching out to women and offering, a conversation with them just to talk about, just to help you with your business. So is that something that you're still offering and you'd like people to reach you about?
Yes, absolutely, Alex. So I would like to hope to interview women that identify with my message, who say, yes, I am too nice and I've suffered from never having the relationship that I want. So I love to interview these women, always getting to know what are their fears, what are their wants, what are their wishes. And I can promise them that they will find this interview so insightful. This is the feedback I always get, because through answering my questions, women then are faced with, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. Yes, that's what has been holding me back my whole life. Or I've never seen that I have this pattern in relationships. So I can promise them they will be helping me in my market research, but they will get a lot of insight on themselves.
Great. So they can reach you on the website, and your email is also there, Barbara@emotional-strength.com. And you've also got a Facebook page, Emotional Strength with Barbara. And I'll put the links all in the show notes afterwards. So Barbara, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Inspiring, in fact, I think. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, thank you, Alex, for giving me this opportunity to share my voice, the voice that was sitting hidden for so long. So thank you so much for providing this platform, Alex. I've really enjoyed this myself.
Thank you.